Well, just, of course, happy with the way the team's playing. I think we've won 6 games in a row and starting to swing the bat a little better, a little more consistent. Obviously, FSU's coming in. They're playing with some confidence. They beat up on Florida the other night and won 2 or 3 on the road against Virginia Tech. So should be a good matchup. I know they've gotten off to maybe a slower start, but they're a better team than what their record shows, and their pitching is very good, and they're going to match up probably pretty good. They got a Friday guy, I would assume, if it's been announced, but their lefty is very good, and we got a lot of lefties in our lineup, so we're going to have to be able to give good at-bats against a very, very good, maybe probably the best lefty we've faced up to this point. So it should be an exciting series.
Awesome. All right, Gino, our first question for you comes from Christopher Stock of Inside the U. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, I was curious with what Daniel Fetterman did there I think on Sunday you were going to still have him throw, and maybe just some things that you've worked on with him heading into this weekend. And then real quick, just an update on J.P. Gates. He's just not been, hitting or pitching. Has he been available? Just kind of an update on kind of where he stands with you guys.
Well, in regards to Fetterman, Fetterman did not pitch on Sunday. Obviously, we didn't have the game. He was scheduled to throw that day. But Fetterman will be obviously a guy that we're counting on. We bumped the other 2 guys up to Friday and Saturday, the freshmen. He did throw. We took the day off on Sunday, which is kind of unusual, but we didn't have the game, so we felt like we'll give him a day off on Sunday and practice on Monday, which is our normal day off. And so he threw a long, extended bullpen with JD, so it gave them time to work on some things. The biggest thing is just, Fetterman's not an overpowering guy. He's not a 95, 96 guy like these younger guys are. So he's got to be a little bit more pinpoint with his control. He's got to keep the ball down. He's got to get ground balls. He's got to be able to pitch backwards. Some of the balls have been left up, and they've hit some home runs off of him. So he's a guy that, obviously he's a veteran guy, have a lot of confidence in Fed, and, so he'll be ready to go on Sunday. I know he'll be ready to go. In regards to Gates, Gates is out for the year. He had season-ending surgery yesterday morning, so he had some pain in his kind of his forearm, his flexor there, and it ended up being his elbow, and so he ended up having the Tommy John surgery, and so he's out for the year.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to Jason Parker of NBC6. Jason, go ahead.
Coach, talk about what you've seen from your team over the last 6 games. You kind of hit that little slide, losing the Virginia Tech series. You lose the opener to NC State, and then you got 6 wins in a row. What have you seen different from the team so far from the first couple games of the season?
Yeah, well, like anything, you get it going. The first word that comes to mind is confidence. It's amazing how that word is. I don't know how you put a value on it, but it's big. It's huge. Now, why do we have confidence? Obviously, we're playing better baseball. They all go hand in hand. We're just playing more complete baseball. I think, Virginia Tech you mentioned, and then, of course, the first game, NC State, which I think was the climax of playing about as bad a baseball as you could play. That first game at NC State where we were horrible on the mound. We were horrible defensively. We were horrible swinging the bat in every phase, which just totally boggled my mind because I'm like, golly, we're so much better than this. But it kind of goes that way, too, when you have a lack of confidence and you start questioning yourself and look around going, well, wait a minute. Are we this bad? And so I thought we had a good conversation after Friday's game, and the guys were able to bounce back, maybe more so mentally than anything, because we were beat up pretty good mentally. You could see it. Everybody, coaches, players, everybody. It's not fun playing baseball like that. So I just felt like we turned it around on the mound. We started pitching better. We started playing much better defense. I think playing the younger guys, getting Dom Patelli to play short and moving Yo-Yo to third has really solidified our infield, give us more confidence, and even we're playing a freshman at first in Kafis at times. I just feel like defensively we're pretty good with those guys in the infield. And then all of a sudden, we got it going offensively. I mean, we're a team that's supposed to be known for some power, and we weren't hitting for power at all. I mean, that Virginia Tech series, we had 1 extra base hit the entire series. I can't ever recall that, and we're supposed to be a a power hitting team. So we got it going on. I know that last day at NC State where we started hitting the ball at the ballpark and hitting doubles and driving the ball, and it's kind of taken off from there. I think Coach Lopes has done a good job with the hitters of kind of just freeing them up and not thinking so much and being so defensive, and guys just cutting it loose. And we've kind of had a roll going here with swinging the bat. So that's something that certainly we're playing just more complete baseball. I think that's really the key right now, this 6-game winning streak.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to David Ferones of the Sun-Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Yeah, Gino, I was actually just going to ask about the lineup and how the bats have kind of gotten going for you of late. Is it as simple as what you mentioned? Are the guys feeling a little bit more comfortable now, getting into a groove, kind of getting toward that mid-season, or kind of getting deeper into the season?
Yeah, I mean, as simple as I said in terms of just freeing it, I think that's it is simple. You're amazed you would think it's that easy, but sometimes you get in your own way mentally. Hitting's a crazy thing. I've never done it before. It's a very, very mental thing. It's about the only thing I can say is similar to swinging a golf club. It's very mental. Get in your head a lot. And I think we were clouding ourselves a little bit there and just kind of freed it up. But yeah, I mean, the lineup, I think you had guys that were struggling or guys that we knew they're veteran guys. I mean, Lau leading off was not swinging the bat well, although he was getting on base. Villar was swinging the bat okay, but not getting a lot to show for it, but he was swinging better. Dell was not swinging the bat as well as we think. He's probably one of the best hitters in the country. He was, at the time, swinging the bat well. And even Terrell, who's still been a little inconsistent, we need to get more consistency out of him. Those guys are big-name guys that hadn't really done a whole lot. And once they got it going, of course, some of the other guys who had been swinging the bat well, like Yo-Yo Morales and, of course, Christian Del Castillo has been maybe our most clutch hitter. Those guys have continued all the way through. So it's nice if you can get all 9 guys going. That doesn't happen very often, but we have a number of guys in the lineup that I think are giving good, what I call taxing at-bats, taxing on the pitcher, which to me is when you do that, you're going to be successful.
All right, Gino, we're going to go to Susan Miller-Degnan of the Miami Herald. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, how are you?
Good. How you doing, Susan?
I'm good. I jumped on maybe, I don't know how late, 30 seconds? I don't know, but maybe more. But Florida State, I'm not sure how much you talk about them. It's always a big series. Does it feel different at all this season, the rivalry, and what's the most dangerous thing about that team? And I'm sorry if you already answered.
No, I didn't. I mean, it's always, of course, a big rivalry. We, back in the day, we used to play them 6 times. But, now being in the ACC, we play them 3 times a year. And, I mean, their strength to me, watching them so far, has been their pitching, their depth of their pitching, starting, and their bullpen. I think their lineup, I know their lineup is better than what it's produced statistically, but similar to us, they got off to a slow start offensively. They're starting to get it going offensively. If you saw what they did at Virginia Tech and then what they did just the other night against Florida, they're starting to get the offense going kind of like we are. We maybe got a head start on our offense before them. But bottom line is they're a very dangerous team. They're better than what their record shows. And so we got to be ready to go. Bottom line is we got to worry about how we play the game and not what FSU is doing. If we play the game the way we're supposed to, good things will happen for us. So in regards to, it's going to be a little different, I guess, Susan, just because, it's not going to be a packed house. But the adrenaline still kicks. It still goes. That doesn't change. I still feel the same way as a coach. If there's 600 or 5,000 people, I felt like that at Florida when there was 1,700 instead of 8,000 at that stadium. So that'll not change. But I guess for the fans, and whatnot, the atmosphere of the ballpark will be a little different.
Thanks, Gino.
All right, Gino, we have time for a couple more. We're going to go back to Jason Parker of NBC6. Jason, go ahead.
2-part question. You touched on it a little bit. Florida State, Miami, this is the rivalry in college baseball. You've been a part of it plenty of years as a player, as a coach. You've experienced a rivalry in your own personal life with your brother going to FSU and whatnot. Talk about just some of the history of the series, maybe how you talk to some of the younger guys about what Miami, Florida State baseball means. And also, second part of the question, is this one going to be a little bit different because this is the first time Miami will play FSU in 4 decades without Mike Martin Sr. coaching the Seminoles?
Well, yeah, the first part, you're right. It goes back. We played them more than any other team in our history, and I'm sure the same for them probably. I think back, of course, you can't not think about the 99 championship, 99 season, really, to be honest with you. Again, I told you we played them 6 times. We would always play 3 here and 3 there. If I'm not mistaken, they won the first game against us in 99, and we won the next 6, next 5 in the regular season, and we won the 6th one being the championship. And I want to say, of all those, I want to say 6 of them might have been one-run games. So that kind of sums up our rivalry. They're always good games. They're always close games for the most part, and they're always highly contested. I mean, I think of, hard not to think of Coach Frazier and Coach Martin. I happened to come in when Coach Frazier was on the back end of his career, and Coach Martin was on the front end of his career. But both certainly 2 legendary coaches. And you're right, it's probably over the years maybe the biggest rivalry in baseball, certainly during that era. Maybe it's changed now. There's some other rivalries that can match it or be better. But in regards to, I'm sorry, the second part of your question was what now?
Just talking about the difference, how this will be the first time, since you guys didn't play last year, this is the first time Mike Martin Jr. will be managing the team. Like, is there a little bit of difference, or what do you think you're going to see from these guys?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, I only coached one as a head coach one time against Coach Martin. I'm not sure that comes into my mind of how it's going to be different or anything. It's his son coaching who's been there forever, so their philosophy, I'm sure, is pretty much the same. And so I don't know if anything's going to change there, but I really don't see any much of a change.
All right, Gino, our last question for you comes from Josh White of WVUM. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Gino, how you doing?
Good, Josh. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to ask you about Alejandro Rosario and Victor Medeiros. Obviously, Rosario's been, one of the most dominant pitchers, not just on your staff, but in the conference as a whole. And Victor Medeiros has had his moments as well. They've obviously made starts against Florida, and they performed pretty well. But facing Florida State, and again, it's not maybe the same atmosphere in that rivalry game. How do you keep them in check and just kind of go out there and do their thing?
I'll stay out of their way. I won't say a word. Those guys have been just fine the way they are. Worst thing you can do is try to blow this thing up or overcoach them here. I mean, those guys are very talented guys. They've proven already that they can handle the atmosphere, whether it's in Gainesville or we've been on the road half the time, it seems like. I think we have. So, nothing seems to faze those guys. I think they'll be fine. So we're going to treat it like any other game that they've come in and pitched against. So, I don't see any changes there, Josh. JD's done a great job with those guys. And, of course, I've mentioned it before. I feel very good about, obviously, our recruiting class. These young guys that have come in are very talented, but maybe even more so, I just like their demeanor. I like the character of the guys and how they handle themselves. And, I think that's going to take them a long way.